Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. Today I am not on my own. I invited a guest today and she's currently an au pair in America, and I thought I haven't done a video about au pairing in a long time, and also probably a lot of things have changed, I assume, and therefore I'm really excited for today's guest. If you just want to introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, I'm Shelly. I'm 24 years old and I currently live in Missouri, in America, and I've been an au pair in the States since August 2019. So before the world went crazy. So
yeah, this is really exciting because I haven't really heard so much about how like, are there still au pairs traveling to the States now or planning to travel to the States this summer? Like, I mean, this used to be the big planning period and then people would come in the summer, but I don't know, is this still happening?
Yes, mostly people are still planning to come, but because of all the travel bans and visa bans and embassies closed, there's currently like a really big amount of people who can't really get their visas. So it's more of a, oh, I hope I can come soon. My LCC was talking about someone yesterday in a meeting who had been waiting to get her visa for like 13 months. So it does take a long time right now. Like, people have been waiting for months.
Okay. So the problem is for them to get the visa.
Yeah.
Not the flight or anything else, just the visa.
People who did have the visa before were able to come to the US via Serbia and I think Croatia. Yeah, something like that, because they had to be out of the EU in order to be able to come into the States. So they went to Serbia and stayed there for 2 weeks, and then they were able to get in. And also there's this NIE visa, which is a visa people can get if they have special needs children or medical health worker host parents. And those, I assume, can get in right away. But since embassies are closed and everything, it's really hard to get that as well right now.
Okay. And I mean, obviously right now, I don't know if I can say most countries, but a lot of countries have lockdowns and we're going through this second wave. But I mean, you've been there through the ups and downs, really. Like, was it easier, let's say, last summer?
I don't know, not really.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
no, that's fine.
It depends, because I was in a different spot also. So
yeah,
the Midwest is pretty much open. Like, there's no lockdown in the Midwest.
Yeah. And if you look at your au pair life before the pandemic and then through the ups and downs, how have things changed for you, and why did you decide to stay?
I mean, the biggest change is probably, or there's two big changes: schedule, because kids are not in school anymore, so you're on all day instead of, working in the morning, bringing kids to school, and then being off for the morning, and then just, like working in the afternoon for a little longer. That like regular au pair schedule that most people have. So that, was not an option anymore because the kids were home all day. So days were longer, a lot more time spent with the kids. And also, since everything closed down, especially in the beginning, it was really like not really possible to meet people at all. And especially in the beginning, everybody was super scared and nobody knew like what to do, what was okay to do. So it was hard to like even meet people at all in the beginning because nobody knew how to handle this. By now, it's been easier to meet people because most people are like, okay, let's meet, let's keep a distance or whatever. And yeah, here in the Midwest, since there is no lockdown or anything and most things are open, it feels a lot more normal than it did in Maryland and California. And despite the pandemic, I decided to stay because, well, mainly because I wanted to move to California. So, which I did, but then I rematched. So, well, yeah, that was like my main reason.
Ah, okay. Did you have this plan for a really long time that you wanted to move to California? Was that like a big dream of yours?
Yes.
Ah, okay. But I mean, did a lot of girls return home because of the pandemic, or what would you say in terms of percentages? Did people still complete their year, or did most people leave?
I think that many people left. I mean, if I had to estimate, I would say probably like 30-40%. But
Okay.
that's only from like what I've heard. In my direct environment, there was only one person who left.
Okay.
But in like WhatsApp groups and everything, I kept reading again and again and again, oh, I'm leaving because of Corona.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yeah, so people kept leaving, and I was like, oh wow, this is getting more and more and more.
Okay. But I mean, was there any advice? Like, I mean, obviously in the beginning, this was new for everybody. Like, why would somebody decide to suddenly leave?
Many people said they left because they couldn't travel anymore. And they were like,
Okay.
oh, this is the main purpose. I'm here, so I can't travel anymore, so I'm leaving, which I think is kind of not fair towards the families because they didn't plan for that either.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a big reason. And also there was actually a recommendation from the German government saying to like all the travelers and everyone who was abroad that they should come home as long as they can. And yeah, I think some people also left because of that. And then, you know, their parents were kind of anxious about it. And
That's very interesting because I'm assuming, I mean, I don't know, but I'm assuming that this was probably a this was probably aimed towards travelers who are like going from place to place. But if you're an au pair who can stay within a family and you can work there, then I don't think you necessarily have to come home immediately.
That's what I thought, but like the recommendation was towards every German who is currently abroad,
Oh, okay.
unless they're like, you know, really living there, like you.
Okay.
Partly because of flights, because flights might get unavailable, is what they said.
Yeah, okay.
Because they didn't know how the situation would develop. Yeah, and just because I don't know, they wanted people to be safe or whatever, I guess.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Um, let's jump to another topic. I'm just curious because you've been in 3 different families and also 3 different environments. If you could just briefly say where you were and what your experience has been in those states. And I don't know if you've been in a city, because now you're more living in the country, aren't you?
No, in the suburbs.
In the suburbs, okay.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just gonna leave the pandemic out and just talk about the actual au pair experience besides that.
Yeah.
So my first family was in Baltimore, and I stayed there for my first like the whole first year. And the experience was pretty good, otherwise I wouldn't have extended. And I had, you know, my au pair friend circle and everything. Unfortunately we couldn't travel as much as we wanted, but I got some trips in because before everything started, met some friends that like new friends, and also friends that I had been in touch for years but never met in person, like this American friend I have in New York, which was pretty fun. And yeah.
Well, how did you get to know these people then before you went to America? Through the
Online.
internet? Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that was a pretty good experience. In the beginning, it was a little harder because, you know, the kids don't always accept you right away because they were super tight with the au pair that was there before you. And so they needed some time to like get used to you and bond and everything, but that's normal. So
yeah.
And then my second family was in California, 2 hours north of LA. That was actually the most rural place of the 3 I've lived in. it was like almost half an hour to like the next bigger stores or place and the next Target and everything. But since I had a car, it was fine. In my first family, I had like stupid car restrictions that was pretty hard, and it was a big relief to just be able to use the car the way I wanted. In the second family, there I had smaller kids, 3.5 and 5 years old. But I couldn't travel at all because of the pandemic, and they were immunocompromised, so that was harder. So I decided to rematch, and then ended up here in Missouri, which is, like I said, the suburbs where we live, suburbs of St. Louis. St. Louis is like 15 minutes away. It's like super close. We're also super close to the Illinois border. I have a friend on the other side of the border who lives only half an hour away, but it's just like, one state over, which is kind of fun. And yeah, I've only been here for 3 months so far. And I spent Christmas with them, which was super fun. And actually my first American Christmas, so pretty special. Yeah, and I have bigger kids there, 10 and 12.
Okay. And what's your experience between looking after older kids and younger kids?
It's a lot more relaxed if you look after older kids, because you don't have to like supervise them 24/7 or like, while you're on duty like the whole time. Because like, even if you just go to the bathroom, the little ones will run after you and be like, oh, Shelly, whatever. And the big ones are just like, oh, she's there, whatever. Especially my kids, they don't like, they play a lot of video games, and they don't have really restricted screen time or anything. So once we're done with school, they play their games, and I just have to be there so they're not home alone, I guess. Yeah, so it's a lot more relaxed. And also what is fun is that you can actually like have more grown-up conversations. They start to get sarcastic and everything, and like understand more, I'm gonna say like adulty jokes and stuff like that. And with little ones, it's just like baby talk, I guess, sort of.
Well, I guess it depends what you like, and also depending on how much childcare experience you have, you probably know what you enjoy more. Yeah,
it's definitely a question of preference. Like I know so many people who enjoy entertaining their little kids all day. I'm just not one of those people.
I saw I think you mentioned in one of your videos that you have American friends, so that you easily make them. How I think a lot of girls actually, I mean, it's been a long time since I was an au pair, but I know that it's always easier to make au pair friends because you have all these groups, and then you can also get so many contacts through the agency. But how do you make American friends?
Mostly with apps like Bumble and Tinder. And Tinder actually works.
For making friends?
Yes.
Okay.
So I just wrote in my bio that I'm just looking for friendship, and some people don't read it and still try to hit on you, but so I just ignore that. But some people actually read your bio and they're like, okay, I'm fine with making friends. And then, because I get along pretty well with guys as friends.
Okay.
So yeah. And that actually works. And Bumble, you can set on best friend mode, so it actually is set to finding friends only. So yeah, that works best for me.
Okay, so this is mainly how you've met your American friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess especially now there's probably not like the typical American house party or anything that you can go to. Because I think back when I was an au pair, you could kind of, if you were close to a university, if you knew any university students, and then they could potentially invite you to a party. But I guess that's not so much happening unless somebody is breaking the rules.
Yeah, exactly. And also university is actually a good point, because if you do your classes at a regular college, you can meet people. Yeah. Which I'm doing, but it's all online, so it's not really helping much.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Were you able to do that at all in person in the beginning of your stay?
No, I did a weekend class, and that was in April.
Okay.
And they, a couple of weeks beforehand, they decided to do it online instead of in person. And here, actually, one of my classes was supposed to be in person, but the teacher put up a survey in the beginning asking people if they would prefer it as a hybrid model. So like one day at college and the other one online. But most people apparently said they just wanted to do it completely online. So that's why it ended like that. And I was like, I want the college experience. I want it to be in person because they're allowed to do that right now here. Schools are open and everything, but yeah.
Okay. And out of the 3 places that you stayed, I mean, in terms of the environment, do you have any preferences?
Like state-wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I love California to pieces, and it's amazing because you have everything in one place. Like you have the mountains, and then you turn around and you see the ocean. And also, if you like drive towards the inner country, you have like vast wastelands, which is like amazing. And here it actually reminds me kind of Europe, just like, I don't know, the way it looks. I don't know. And I don't know, the US is so diverse. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, how long did you stay in California then in total?
3 months.
3 months. But I know that I know your reasons for leaving, and I think now you're much happier, but were you like really disappointed to leave the state that you really, really wanted to be in?
Yes. I was sad because of the state and also because I had made really great friends. So that was kind of hard, but I just figured out for myself that my priority was traveling because as great as California is, I still wanted to see other parts of the country, like on the weekends and stuff, right? So I figured it's still the best decision for me.
Just for everybody who maybe not know, is that you left California because your previous family was very restrictive in terms of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And now you've got how much longer to be an au pair in the US?
6 months plus travel month.
Okay. And last time I spoke to you, you said maybe you want to be an au pair in Australia as well. Have you looked into that?
No, I'm gonna do work and travel probably. I might, yeah, I'm not sure whether I might do au pair for a month or 2 with Au Pair World, but
in Australia.
Yes.
Okay, but is that like at the moment, is that even possible to plan anything like this? Actually, isn't Australia closed for the rest of the year?
It is.
Yeah.
My friend is going to do that. We're flying down together, and then she's going to be an au pair, and I'll do work and travel. And she just recently decided that she's not going this year, so that we're leaving together next year because it's closed right now, and it's not yet clear when they're opening the borders and giving out visas again.
Okay, so basically, it's kind of a plan. I mean, obviously, with any plan when it comes to traveling right now, so a little bit tricky. But are you thinking of finishing your time in America, returning back home for a little bit, and then flying out again?
Yeah, that was my initial plan, and like, I hope that. So I want to leave in 2022 in the summer, and I hope that until then, traveling is going to be a little more normalized than now.
Okay.
So
yeah,
just fingers crossed.
So what inspired you to go even beyond what you've done so far in terms of traveling?
I mean, I wanted to live in the US, but I also wanted to live in different places. And after being in Australia for a short time, but like not seeing so much, I was like, okay, I have to go back there for longer. And there are just like other countries that I want to stay in for longer because they are like, I don't know, so like diverse. I'm just gonna, I don't know. I couldn't decide, so I'm just gonna do it all.
But in Australia, you want to have a bit of diversity. You don't want to be an au pair for the entire time you go.
Yeah. One, because it's just not really paid that well. And I just want to do like the typical work and travel stuff, you know, like fruit picking and that sort. So.
Okay. So
and be in a spot for longer.
Okay. So what I'm getting at is kind of like, it's not because after being an au pair in America for actually quite a long time for you. It's not that you're over being an au pair.
Yeah, it's mostly about the money part, I guess.
But
And yeah.
but the pay is not worse in Australia than it is in America.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's just like in general. And I
Okay.
want to stay, I want to be able to be flexible to where I'm going next and how long I'm staying. And
Okay.
as an au pair, you live with your host family, you're in that spot. And I just want to like travel around, be there for 2 weeks, and that doesn't really work as an au pair.
Okay. I see what you mean. But this is actually quite an interesting question as well, because I've seen online and also spoke to so many girls who say that after 1 year they just were so over being an au pair. So yeah, how have you managed still being able to enjoy what you're doing?
I mean, there's one thing I will be kind of over, which is living with your bosses and just like, I don't know, I have I have a lot of freedom here. So this is great and I'm not complaining at all. So don't get me wrong. But it's just like, I don't know, like you're home, but you're still at work and stuff like that. So I get why that could be irritating to people, especially with little kids who keep like blasting into your room no matter what you're doing and no matter if you're off or not. So I can definitely understand that. But I'm just like, I'm still here. I have my plans on what I'm going to do. So I'm looking forward to that. And with my kids, it's mostly pretty chill. So I don't really have anything to complain about. And that makes it, more enjoyable, I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's really great to hear. And I think that maybe especially because you've been in different places and different families, and maybe also always bringing yourself back to just appreciating where you are right now and enjoying it while you're still there, because ultimately 1 year is not very long. I think that sometimes when things bother us, then we tend to put too much emotion in there, even though this is just a very small amount of time that we have. And coming to the end of this conversation, I just wanted to know, just generally, what would be your advice to somebody who wanted to be an au pair but is now just really uncertain, like how to go about the planning process, or whether this should still be on the table, or if you should have several options on the table? Like, what's your take on this?
I would say if you have the opportunity to postpone it, like if you have something you could do in between, I would postpone it until the pandemic is like either over or, not as bad anymore. But if it's like either do it now or don't do it at all, I would definitely still do it, because there's always, even if you can't travel a lot with the family that you're in, because everybody has different rules and stuff, even if you can't travel a lot, you will still be abroad. So for you, it's still going to be a journey. It's still going to be a travel, because you're going to be in the US and that's not Germany. So you're still going to be in a different country. You'll still improve your English and make great memories, even though you might not be able to see everything you would have liked to see in a normal world. So I would still recommend to definitely doing it.
So are you saying that if you have the opportunity to postpone summer 2021 to summer 2022, that would be a good idea?
For example, yeah. We're all hoping it's going to be better in 2022. So yeah. Like I went after my apprenticeship, for example, and that was pretty good. So if someone is in between of going now and after their either studies or apprenticeship, I would probably say do it after, also because they will be older. But if it's either now or never, then now.
I guess since it's also uncertain, probably it's never bad to have some options if you have the option to apply to a university and just see how this pans out, and then postpone the university if you can get away. Then maybe that's a good option, rather than just sitting around hoping this will happen or not. But I think that's really good advice. Yeah, is there anything else you want to share before we finish up?
I guess so. I mean, like, people just have to be aware that everything is not going to be perfect from the beginning. So they have to give themselves and their family some time to adjust to each other, and not expect, you know, a perfect relationship from the beginning, because that's just not how people work. And also, many people are afraid of rematch if they are not happy with their match. But that's like there's absolutely no reason to be afraid of that. And in most cases, I mean, I'm speaking from experience here, and like also what I've heard from other people and friends who rematched, it's usually like the best decision you can make, and you will see that afterwards as well. And other than that, just make the best out of it, I guess.
Yeah, that's such good advice. So good. And then tell everybody, what's your YouTube channel?
But yeah, my YouTube channel is Shelly Around the World. So
okay, that's cool.
In au pair content.
Yeah, I'm going to link it in the description box so you can check it out and follow your journey, because you're still going to be on this journey. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for participating in this interview, and yeah, continue to enjoy your time in America.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me here. It was fun.
That's okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.